Welcome to this edition of Planet Earth Weekly News. Today is November 25, 2010. I'm gonna report yesterday a 5.4 earthquake just shook Puerto Rico, and today a 7.3 earthquake hit the Pacific coast. I have a 5-page report that is very interesting. It's about the 2010 and what happened in the earth. On 2010, the world gone wild. Quakes, flood, and blizzards. I'm gonna read the whole article. I'm gonna put the source link below the video so you know where I found or where I get the article. Okay, this was the year the earth struck back. Earthquakes, heat waves, floods, volcanoes, super typhoon, blizzards, landslides, and drought killed at least 250,000 people in 2010, the deadliest year in more than a generation. More people were killed worldwide by natural disaster this year than have been killed in terrorist attacks in the past 40 years combined. It just seemed like it was back to back, and it came in waves, said Craig Fugate, who heads the U.S. Federal Emergency Management Agency. It handled a record number of disasters in 2010. The term 100-year event really lost its meaning this year, and we have ourselves to blame most of the time, scientists and disaster experts say. Even though many catastrophes have the ring of random chance, the hand of man made this a particularly deadly, costly, extreme, and weird year for everything from wild weather to earthquakes. Poor construction and development practice conspired to make earthquakes more deadly than they need to be. More people lie in poverty in vulnerable buildings in crowded cities. That means that when the ground shakes, the river breaches, or the tropical cyclone hits, more people die. Okay, I will continue the article. It says, no one had to tell a mask-wearing Vera Savinova how bad it could get. She is a 52-year-old administrator in a dental clinic who in August took refuge from Moscow record heat, smoke, and wildfires. I think it's the end of the world, she said. Our planet warned us against that would happen if we don't care about nature. The excessive amount of extreme weather that dominated 2010 is a classic sign of man-made global warming that climate scientists have long warned about. They calculate that the killer Russian heat wave, setting a national record of 111 degrees, will happen once every 100,000 years without global warming. Preliminary data shows that 18 countries broke their record for the hottest day ever. These weather events would not have happened without global warming, said Kevin Frenberg, chief of climate analysis for the National Center for Atmospheric Research in Boulder, Colorado. That's why the people who study disaster for a living say it will be wrong to shout 2010 up to just another bad year. The Earth strikes back in chaos with bad human decision making, said Aweri Devarati Guha Sapir, director for the World Health Organization Center for Research on the Epidemiology of Disaster. It's almost as if the government policies and development policies are helping the Earth strike back instead of protecting from it. We create conditions where the slightest thing the Earth does is really going to have a disproportionate impact. Here's a quick tour of anything but normal 2010. How deadly? While the Haitian earthquake, Russian heatwave, and Pakistani flooding were the biggest killers, deadly quake also struck Chile, Turkey, China, and Indonesia in one of the most active seismic years in decades. Through mid-December, there have been 20 earthquakes of magnitude 7.0 or higher, compared to the normal 16. This year is tied for the most big quakes in 1970s, but it is not a record. nor is it a significantly above average year for the number of traumatic U.S. earthquake officials say. Flooding along this year killed more than 6,300 people in 69 nations through September, according to the World Health Organization. In the United States, 30 people died in the Nashville, 10 region in flooding. Inundated countries include China, Italy, India, Colombia, and Chad. Super Typhoon Maggie, with winds of more than 200 miles per hour, devastated the Philippines and part of China. Through November 30, nearly 260,000 people died in natural disaster in 2010, compared to 15,000 in 2009, according to Swiss Re, the World Health Organization, which hasn't updated its figures past September 30. It's just shy of 250,000. By comparison, deaths from terrorism from 1968 to 2009 were less than 150,000, according to a report by the U.S. State Department and the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory. This last year, in which natural disasters were this deadly, was 1983, because of an Ethiopian drought and famine, according to WHO. Swiss recalled it the deadliest in 1976. The charity Oxfam says 21,000 of this year's disaster deaths are weather related. How extreme? After strong early year blizzards, nicknamed Snowmageddon, paralyzed the U.S. mid-Atlantic and record snowfalls hit Russia and China, the temperature turned to broil. The year may go down as the hottest on record worldwide, or at the very least in the top 3, according to the World Meteorological Organization. The average global temperature through the end of October was 58.53 degrees, a shade over the previous record of 2005, according to the National Climatic Data Center. Los Angeles has its hottest day in recorded history on September 27, 113 degrees. In May, 129 set a record for Pakistan and may have been the hottest temperature recorded in an inhabited location. In the U.S. Southeast, the year began with freeze in Florida that had cold-blooded iguanas becoming comatose and falling off trees. Then it became the hottest summer on record for the region. As the year ended, unusually cold weather was back in force. Northern Australia had the wettest May-October on record, while the southwestern part of that country had its driest spell on record, and part of the Amazon River basin struck by drought hit their lowest water levels in recorded history. How costly? Disaster caused 222 billion in economic losses in 2010, more than Hong Kong economy, according to Swiss Re. That's more than usual, but not a record, Scratch say. That's because this year's disaster often struck poor areas without heavy insurance, such as IT. Gulan Ali's 3-bedroom, one-story house in northwestern Pakistan collapsed during the floods. To rebuild, has to borrow 50,000 rupees from friends and family. It was money Pakistan earned in half of a year. However, a volcano in Iceland paralyzed air traffic for days in Europe, disrupting travel for more than 7 million people. Other volcanoes in the Congo, Guatemala, Ecuador, the Philippines, and Indonesia sent people scurrying for safety. New York City had a rare tornado. A nearly 2-pound hailstone that was 8 inches in diameter fell in South Dakota in July to set a U.S. record. The storm that produced it was one of the 7 declared disasters for the state in this year. There was not much snow to start the Winter Olympics in a relatively balmy Vancouver, British Columbia, while the U.S. East Coast was snowbound. In a 20-hour period in October, Indonesia got the trifecta of terror, a deadly magnitude 7.7 earthquake, a tsunami that killed more than 500 people, and a volcano that caused more than 3,090 people to flee. 300,090 people to flee. That's after flooding, landslide, and more quakes killed hundreds early in the year. Even the extreme were extreme. This year started with a good-sized El Niño weather oscillation that caused all sorts of extreme worldwide. Then later in the year, the world got the mirror image weather system with a strong La Niña, which causes a different set of extreme, having a year with both a strong El Niño and a La Niña is unusual. And in the United States, FEMA declared a record number of major disasters, 79. As of December 14, the average year has 34. A list of day-by-day disasters in 2010 compiled by the AP run 64 printed page long. The extremes are changed in an extreme fashion, said Greg Holland, director of the Earth System Laboratory at the National Center for Atmospheric Research. For example, even though it sounds counterintuitive, global warming likely played a bit of role in Snowmageddon early this year, Holland said. That's because with a warmer climate, there's more moisture in the air, which makes storms, including blizzards, more intense, he said. White House Science Advisor John Holdren said we should get used to climate disaster or do something about global warming. The sign is clear that we can expect more and more of this kind of damage even until society emissions of heat, trapping gases and particles are sharply reduced. And that's just the natural disaster. It was also a year of man-made technological catastrophe. British petroleum busted oil well caused 172 million gallons to gush into the Gulf of Mexico. Meaning disaster, men trapped deep in the earth, caused dozens of deaths in tragic collapses in West Virginia, China and New Zealand. The fortunate miners in Chile who survived 69 days underground provided the feel-good story of the year. In both technological and natural disasters, there's common theme of pushing the envelope, Olson said. Colorado Bilham said the world's population is moving into risky megacities on foul zones and flood-prone areas. He figures that 400 million to 500 million people in the world live in large cities prone to major earthquakes. A Haitian disaster will happen again, Bilham said. It could be Algiers, it could be Tehran, it could be any of dozens of cities. Boris Dean reported from Washington, reported from Charlotte. So, as you see, what happened in 2010, a lot happened in 2010. That the people that follow this information need to sit down, think, wow, they are telling us, and we are seeing things that are happening every day, every week, every month, and it's more active in the past of the time. After the 21 of December eclipse, there have been 3 earthquakes, 7.1, 7.3, and 5.4 around the world. What is expected for 2011 is not a very good year. It could be a more broken record year. 2011 we broke record. We expect a lot of more earthquakes, more strong than this year in land, not in the sea. So we need to be prepared for the next year. Have a family preparation. Talk to your own family. Explain what is going on. If they don't believe, try to find a way that they believe you and that they can see you as a leader and trust you, that you are telling the truth, that you want the best for for your family, for your friends, because we are in the final days of our life. As I am seeing, I am telling this because as earthquakes continue to grow, volcanoes, you don't know if in your city tomorrow there's an earthquake and kill you, or you survive and you need to survive without the house, without the help, and you need to have food You have me prepared for that, because yeah, we are in times that something may happen at where you live. You may say, "Oh, no, here never happened this, or will never happen this." If you think that way, you're wrong, because you don't know what the earth have for us or for you. Because I really don't know too, but for what we are seeing, the 2011 and the 2012 will be very active, broken record years, and we need to be prepared for what's coming. Looking at the news and following this situation. I want that people, the human race, live. But if we are in the end of times, we just need to survive. And how we survive? Learning to survive. Stay calm and be prepared. That's all I can say. Happy New Year to all of you YouTube subscriber. I hope the new year give you and your family the best, but stay looking at the news and be prepared. That's only my opinion. I am doing that. I am prepared. I have my family and my friends alert about these situations, about what's coming, because no one knows when the bad is gonna hit you. Take care, people. Goodbye and Happy New Year from WHGTV Online. Bye.